How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about the Game Week 20 team selection, as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in double Game Week 19. We're then going to take a look at our transfer plan going into Game Week 20, mostly revolving around the injury to Kevin De Bruyne, and then we're going to finalize our team selection as well as our captaincy going into that Game Week 20 deadline. So that's something you're interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So the double Game Week 19 review, we did use the bench boost because it was a double game week, and to address the bench boost right off the bat, yes, it was a bench boost fail, so can I get some F's in the comments down below? In hindsight, maybe should have looked at this and seen those single game weeks for the likes of the Leeds options, and then maybe not have used the bench boost, but considering the fact that Leeds weren't even able to score against Brighton, considering that Brighton are quite an attacking side, was a little bit unpredictable, so I'm not beating myself up about that too much. We're going to be going through each player and just talking about their game weeks. I won't touch on the fixtures too much because there were obviously 2 fixtures for each, so that's going to take an extended amount of time. So we're just going to be addressing the players, their game time, maybe some talking points about them, and whether we can keep these players for the future game weeks. But to talk about the rank, we have seen a rise in rank there. Thankfully, we did still get a green arrow. I mean, if I didn't get a green arrow on the bench boost, I would have been having some second thoughts there. But we've risen in rank to about that 370k mark. I will also tell you that I did do a minus 12 hit. We'll be talking about those transfers a little bit later on, but that hit did kind of pay off. Even though it was a minus 12, which is usually not advisable, I was kind of thinking that a minus 12 was the maximum amount of hits that I was willing to take, considering that these City players that I brought in do have some great fixtures coming up. So I'm really comfortable, kind of set the team up for the future game weeks with that minus 12 hit, and luckily it did pay off. So the transfers that we did make was we brought in Cancelo, we brought in Diaz, we also brought in De Bruyne, and then finally we brought in Watkins. So the players we took out was Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, and then we also took out Lowton from Burnley, and then also Walker-Peters from Southampton. So Walker-Peters didn't do too much, but actually Lowton did manage to get a clean sheet against Liverpool, which was quite surprising. But then Kevin De Bruyne captain, although Son and Kane both scored, at least Watkins and De Bruyne also scored. But it was really the defense that kind of came in clutch for us. Diaz with 18 points, Cancelo with 8 points. If you are an owner of John Stones, you probably were celebrating massively after that first game of the game week. Scoring 21 points as a defender is absolutely sensational, and I think if you guys were priced out of Diaz or Cancelo, you were probably really happy with being forced to get Stones. But I never was going to consider Stones unless I really needed the budget, and with the team and the upgrades that I was planning, I didn't need the budget, so I went for the safe options of Cancelo and Diaz. We spoke about Cancelo being rested, and if you thought that he was going to be rested in blank game week 18, that threat didn't go away. He was never going to start 3 game weeks in a row, but for the future game weeks, I'm really happy with owning Cancelo. From an attacking point of view, I know that he hasn't got those attacking returns. I missed out on a couple of them this game week, but I think for the future game weeks, he definitely has a haul in him. So starting off in goal with Fabianski with 8 points. Now, while I was really hoping for a double clean sheet from Fabianski, I thought that they definitely could have got it, but unfortunately they did concede in that second game week. But the nice thing about that double up in West Ham was they still managed to get a clean sheet in the first one, and then Soufal also got an assist, which is quite welcome. So at least these 2 players played. Same with Justin. So Justin managing to get 14 points there, a double clean sheet for Leicester. Maybe a little bit unpredictable considering that they faced Chelsea, but I'll always welcome that. And he also did have some attacking threat there. I think in one of the games he hit the post, so nearly on for a massive haul there from Justin. And with the way he's playing currently, I know that Pereira is back from his injury, but Justin just seems undroppable. He's just playing so well that I don't think Brendan Rodgers is going to drop him, and I think that Leicester are playing really well as well, so that's only going to lead to more FPL points, and I'm just basically hoping that Pereira doesn't offer too much of a rotation risk with Justin. So then finally going on to the midfield, where not much actually happened. This game week was kind of a defense heavy game week, so if you did manage to go really expensive in your defense or had some good defensive options, you probably had a really good game week. So Souček was probably the disappointment of the team, only the appearance points for the West Ham midfielder. Now I don't really know on his attacking stats, I don't really watch a lot of the West Ham games, so I don't know if he had some big chances there, but I was expecting a little bit more from him, maybe an assist or a goal, but unfortunately it was just kind of Antonio that went on the attack thread for West Ham, and then because we already had tripled up on him, we didn't manage to bring him in. So Fernandes with 8 points, it was kind of the 8-point appearances, Fernandes, De Bruyne and Gisa all getting 8 points, which was quite a bit of poetry considering those 3 are the best midfielders in the Premier League at the moment, am I right? But De Bruyne's captaincy was a little bit of a fail in my opinion, considering the chances that he did have, and then obviously he came off injured in the second game on the 59th minute. Talk about unlucky. If he just managed to stay on the field for another minute, he would have had 2 extra points, so that's 4 points for our captain, but he was injured, so wishing him the best for his recovery. recovery, but unfortunately that's going to mean that he is on the chopping block for our transfers. Salah was also a disappointment. He has to go up there with Souček considering he's about 3 times more expensive and he only returned 4 points. He actually was benched for the Burnley fixture, so can't blame him too much for a lack of returns there, but coming on only for the 1-point appearance was obviously disappointing. I'm just kind of happy that I didn't maybe use the triple captain, but considering the bench boost was a fail, I can't really judge too much. And finally, going into the attacking department, Adams didn't do anything. Southampton were unfortunately lacking a little bit in that attack without Danny Ings after him testing positive. And then Watkins, I was just happy that he returned considering that everyone was celebrating having Antonio, and I was kind of left in the dark there with having gone Watkins because I already had a West Ham triple up. So just happy that Watkins managed to get a goal there. A little bit annoyed that there was no bonus points, but that's something that we just have to take on the chin. And then finally the bench, Leeds were absolutely dreadful against Brighton. I was really expecting a lot from them. That was kind of my thinking behind the bench boost and why I still went for it, was that Leeds was such an attacking side, and I thought against Brighton, who are also attacking side, there might be a lot of goals in that one. Wasn't expecting a clean sheet, but if Bamford and Rafinha at least got a return, it would have taken us over that 16-point mark, and then I would have been happy. But unfortunately with 8 points, it looks like a massive fail here, but I basically got the minimum that I was expecting. Then Johnston also, for the first game week, he tested positive. I don't think there would have been many points in that, but any kind of point helps in FPL. So I mean, a 3-pointer I would have taken from Johnston, but unfortunately it was just the 2-pointer, so that contributed to the bench boost fail as well. But let's get on to some greener pastures and think of the future game weeks and look at our transfer plan. So as I said, the transfer plan is going to largely revolve around the Kevin De Bruyne injury. Now he is a doubt for the Liverpool game, which is in about 4 game weeks time, so a lot of football to still playing with those Man City lovely fixtures over the next 3. I am considering a straight swap to someone like Gundogan or Sterling, but the fact of the matter is, and I'm going to talk about the captaincy right now, is that Bruno Fernandes was rested for the Liverpool game. He came off the bench for the last couple minutes, scored a free kick goal, winning United that game, so he's going to be full of confidence, and going into a home fixture against Sheffield United, I am really expecting him to do well. So I think that Bruno Fernandes, I said in the preview, if he was going to be rested, he will be my captain, so I'm pretty certain on that Bruno Fernandes captaincy, and that kind of leads me to think that I don't really need a Man City captaincy option then, because over the next couple game weeks, we have some good players as well. Salah, Son could have a good captaincy fixture, so the City fixtures might not be the go-tos. So if I'm not considering a City option, I might look at Heung-min Son. We said game week 21, good captaincy option. Game week 23, good captaincy option as well. So if we're not going to captain a Man City player in game week 20, we might look at other alternatives. But I still am a little bit focused on those 3 Man City fixtures, which is why I was considering Sterling or Gundogan. But if I'm not going to be captaining a City player, then Sterling kind of loses his appeal for me, because Gundogan, I think, has been a little bit more consistent. We looked in the preview at those stats. I will leave a link down in the description below so that you guys can see that stat comparison. But Gundogan is actually performing in all the major attacking stats better than Sterling is, which is quite a shock at me considering how cheap Gundogan is versus Sterling. But then we've also had this kind of debate of if Kevin De Bruyne is out injured, Gundogan might not be as high up. So what people have been saying is with Kevin De Bruyne in the lineup, Gundogan has been given a role to roam forward, but with KDB out injured, maybe he'll drop back and play a more defensive role. And I don't think there's too much merit to this, considering that Man City usually have a large amount of possession. So if the team they are playing is camped in their box, I think that Gundogan's going to get forward exactly the same amount as if Kevin De Bruyne was playing. So I don't think there's too much merit to that debate. And I also think that because of that cheap budget, we could always upgrade our 5th midfielder or our 3rd attacker to someone like Harry Kane if we want to, with those lovely Spurs fixtures coming up that are alternating. So I haven't really made a decision on who I'm going to be bringing in. Stay tuned to my Twitter at Dayvy FPL for the confirmed move, or maybe I'll wait till the Deadline with Dayvy live stream for game week 20 to finalize that transfer. But these are my 3 main considerations. I was also maybe looking at someone like Marcus Rashford, but because of his suspected injury against Liverpool, he did go down the tunnel straight away after his substitution, and then Oli came out and said that he will be having a scan on his knee. So that news has come out as of the release of this video. I will drop it down in the comments below, but if it comes out after the release, you could also consider Marcus Rashford, as Man United also have some good fixtures. But currently what I'm leaning towards is these 3 options, and just stay tuned, as I said to my Twitter, if I do make the move. So this is the team right now for Game Week 20 with no transfers confirmed. I've just stuck De Bruyne in here because whoever I bring in will start, obviously. And then my captaincy is on Fernandes because of his rest. So the rest of the lineup, we actually have a little bit of a benching debate here. So comment down below if you think I got my bench order and my substitutions right, because I was considering starting Souček, but then also Rafinha. I kind of feel like Rafinha is more of the attacking option. And with Antonio back in the lineup, I think that main heading threat now has shifted to him. And Souček might play a more defensive position, but I might be wrong here. Whenever I bench Souček, he has gone unscored, and luckily one of our main starting 11 players has actually not played, so we got that lovely Souček 11 pointer. But maybe this week we won't be that lucky, but I think the rest of the lineup I'm pretty happy with. We got Fabianski, Sufal against Crystal Palace. Now if Wilfried Zaha manages to score against them, I'll be mightily disappointed because that is a double clean sheet down the drain there, but I still have confidence with West Ham. They're actually playing quite well recently. And then my second double up in defense is going to be Cancelo and Diaz. That kind of picks itself against West Bromwich Albion. I am expecting a clean sheet, and hopefully finally Cancelo gets an attacking return, as then he'll be on for a massive haul. And then finally in the defense we have Justin against Everton. Now Everton have been a little bit hit or miss. I know that Calvert-Lewin is back from his injury, so that I guess poses a more attacking threat. So maybe I will bench Justin and play someone like Souček. Not really comfortable with the Leeds defenders right now because statistically they have the worst defense in the Premier League at the moment, but I am confident in their attackers. So I've got Rafinha and Bamford here. Hopefully against Newcastle they should get a result. And then to round off the midfield we've got Fernandes, our captain, against Sheffield United. Now I think this should be a good game for Man United, and considering Bruno Fernandes' rest, I think he'll be raring to go in this one, confident after that game winner against Liverpool. So I think he's going to be a great captaincy option. And then finally in the midfield, we've got Salah against Spurs. This could be a hit or miss game. I mean, Liverpool are playing really badly right now, but Salah did go and score 2 goals in that Man United fixture. So maybe his form is returning to his old self, and then hopefully that returns some FPL points to our lineup. And then finally in the attack, we've got Watkins against Burnley. Now this could be a tough game because defensively Burnley have been great, but I think that Aston Villa have also been great going forward. So I'm still confident in getting a potential haul out of Watkins. Then on the bench, you've got Johnson against Man City, not going to be playing him. Then finally Souček, Dallas, and Adams. Now with Adams, I don't really know. Danny Ings is back in the team, so I think that attacking threat instantly goes up. So against Arsenal, Adams could do well, but Arsenal defensively have also been a little bit better. So I'm considering maybe leaving Adams on the bench, but that could be a decision that I come back to Rue. But the transfers have not been confirmed yet. I'm waiting for a bit more news. As you know, I'm always delaying my transfers for as late as possible, getting the most news as possible because this season has been so unpredictable. So stay tuned to that deadline with Dayvy live stream for the most confirmed team going into the GameWeek 20 deadline, and hopefully I'll see you guys there. So this is basically a wrap of the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. I'll be checking you guys, as I said, in the deadline with Dayvy live stream, otherwise on my Twitter at DayvyFPL. And I'm signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.